again, on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. Today we are being joined by Claudia Iriarte, and the space that we are about to start has been called Angels on This World. Claudia is psychotherapist and transpersonal coach. Before starting with her, I just want to remind you, Mindalia is an international nonprofit organization. You can collaborate with us just by liking, subscribing, following us on our different platforms. You can even share our content with someone that you think that may benefit of what we develop here on a daily basis. You can also go to www.mindalia.com. Having said that, I have the great pleasure of leaving you with Claudia Iriarte. Claudia, bienvenida. Welcome to Mindalia.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mirna. And thanks also to the whole group of Mindalia. This is a real pleasure for me. We're going to talk today about the guardian angel and modern times. We know through history that we have gone through a great number of catastrophes, wars, droughts, and so on. It is also true that today human suffering is global and not restricted to a certain geographical area. The whole world is going through profound changes. The human race is tired, and young people are deeply confused. We need to make changes so that the world can be free and the values and principles based upon divine laws can be recuperated. Usually, on these times, we ask ourselves now, what is going on? Where is humanity going? Does God really exist? Who can help us? It is possible that angels exist and that these changes can be manifested through them. The situation that we are living now has clearly shown that the world is one. That what happens at one extreme of the planet has repercussions on the other extreme of the planet. It has been many months in which we have been living in a state of fear and attention that has provoked anxiety and serious depression in many people. There is confusion nowadays, doubt, uncertainty, and a sense of loss. Surely, many of us have questioned ourselves as to what do I really want in my life? Do I want to continue to do what I'm doing right now or today? Or perhaps I feel I have lost my sense of living. In some cases, we have even lost our physical health due to the sustained fear that we have had for so long. Don't you think it's time to make changes? The world has given us many years of experience and lessons, and together with this, the possibility to recapacitate many times. This present day is a new opportunity to renew our path. It is a moment to open our eyes and understand that what we see physical or materially is not the only thing that exists. We know that we are energy and that we are surrounded by an energy field. This energy field, we can call it the quantum field, or we can call it just the energy field. There is much literature and scientific studies that prove this. In this energy field that surrounds and permeates us are our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, our desires, the dreams that we have yet to achieve, the much desired health, and everything we need to be well. Along with these, there is also all the beings that emanate love and that give peace to all human beings. Of course, we are not conscious of those beings, normally speaking, because we haven't had the ability to see them through the other eyes that are inside of us. In this energy field, there exists a harmonious dance that constantly offers mankind everything it wants to obtain, but believe it doesn't exist. These beings have been called by many names over time, but for us on this side of the world, we call them angels. They are beacons from the creative source whose primary mission is to help mankind. When we decide to have this broad vision and we develop the necessary consciousness to achieve this vision, we obtain answers from this quantum field in many different ways. One of these is the manifestation of these beings. To get this nearness, it is necessary to trust and let go of the wrong belief that the only thing that exists is what we perceive with our physical eyes. The next step is to learn to accept ourselves the way we are, to recognize in ourselves the magnificent divine, even in all that we have been taught to believe that is bad or wrong. The emotions that we have called negative are an important part of our path. They help us to see ourselves more clearly, and they push us to make the changes necessary to free ourselves. When we recognize that anger that we often have, the resentment, the jealousy, etc., are part of ourselves, and we transform them through acceptance, our internal beings starts to show itself with more transparency. The big mistake we make is that we hide them, and we don't want anybody to see them because we learned through ages that those things or those emotions were bad or were wrong. Nowadays, we know more than we used to know before. And we know that it is very, very important to pay attention to those emotions. Probably those emotions are the emotions that we have to be able to touch, to hear, to listen, and to face, to be able even to grow in our spiritual life. Later, the meditation or the moments of silence remind us of the importance of self-observation and to observe from within the silence in everything that surrounds us. In this way, we can become more conscious of the presence of angels in our life. Life is full of noises. Life is full of things that we are listening all the time. And the thoughts that come and go make a lot of noise also inside of us. And unfortunately, those noises and those thoughts that are full of noise are not the nicest way or the easiest way to get through the path that we need to take to be able to listen to the spiritual world. So meditation is very important also. So when we try to make the silence that we need to avoid everything that is outside, we can get to find ourselves easier through the silence than through living in the world where we are surrounded by noise all the time. It has been said that they are the angels in everything. And actually, this is so because they are pure energy and do not occupy any space. They are with us in every instant of our lives, and they know all of our deepest secrets. They are part of our daily lives. As a matter of fact, they are a very important part because they are with us every minute of our life. The more we meditate and the more we learn to be coherent with our thoughts and actions, the more we will understand everything that exists in this spiritual world. The answers to all our doubts are in this field. Through dedication, through prayer, and deep commitment to this part so intimately ours, we will comprehend that everything that has happened and that happens constantly is useful for our evolution. When we meditate, we develop our intuition, and this ties us to the presence of these beings that constantly whisper in our ears what we need to do for our well-being. The intuition is something that we all have. But then again, since we get into the world and we rush every day into it, we don't pay attention to the intuition. And there are, fortunately, many humans that are already learning to hear to that part that is usually telling us what to do, that is called the intuition. And there are, we can say, awakening and living a very different life. So one of the ways that we can get to live a different life is to hear that intuition and to learn to be obedient to what that intuition is telling us. When we are in tune with this, we recover peace, confidence, and our decisions are more accurate at moment in time. It is important to pay attention to the messages given by our angels to do things well. Through history, we have had the chance to read a bunch of books that taught us about angels. Actually, history has talked about angels since a long time ago. They have existed in all philosophies and beliefs with different names. They have no shape, but they acquire shapes when they need to manifest themselves more clearly, in particular in regard to mankind. The names of the angels and the archangels came about also to help us understand the greatness of their love. But they have no given names. They use the names that we need to feel them closer. So that means that we can call them by the name that we want anytime, because actually they are, like I said before, pure energy. And that pure energy don't need names, since what we understand that pure energy is pure love. It doesn't need any name to be able to get closer to us. In regard to color, we know that humans have a direct relationship to color. All processes come about unconsciously, so therefore we sometimes feel a certain preference for the use of a particular color. Color has an energy that helps to guide our thoughts and our emotions. Because of this, some colors have been attributed to the angelic realm, in particular when we speak of archangels. I remember on one occasion, I had the privilege of receiving a person at my clinic, at my space, and after speaking with her for a few minutes, in which she told me her personal story, I started to see an emerald green color around her right arm when she would move it. Believe me, it was amazing to me to see something like that. Later, in the same session, the color moved to her other arm and to her chest. At that moment, I opened I closed and I opened my eyes many times. Of course, I was very discreet doing that, but I did it many times because I thought I had a problem of my sight. But the color did not go away. I was so surprised that I had to ask her to repeat part of what she had said because I lose attention. I mean, it was so amazing. The color was a color that I've never seen before. I observed that little by little, the color started going away, especially when she changed topics during our conversation. The color was beautiful. and moved around everywhere on her body. Of course, after that time, I had no choice but to believe that I had only read in several books. I had no more doubts in me that, yes, in that field, there are colors that we can see. But when is that we are able to see those colors? Well, we are able to see those colors when we kind of raise our vibration. And what does that mean? It only means that we get a connection that is only a connection that fills the space with love, with understanding, with compassion, with a lot of love, with a lot of comprehension, because only there you can raise your vibration and you can start seeing what your physical eyes cannot see easily. Today, we are awakening from a dream that had us separated from our true reality for a long time. These times that we are going through, for some of us might seem terrible times, might look like terrible times. Times of suffering, times of pain. But believe me that today we are awakening from a dream that had us separated from our true reality for a long time. So this is a huge opportunity for humanity. Because of this, we now have more consciousness of the existence of angels, of spiritual beings, and we can sense them easier. They favor the spiritual evolution of the planet as we approach times of change. It is time for us to change. And we've been giving this time as an opportunity to make those changes, to open up our eyes, and especially to open up our hearts, to understand that we might be living in different areas of the world. We might learn, we might speak different languages, but no matter what, we are still the same. We are all the same. We are all the same inside. All of us have the same light. All of us were born from the very beginning with the same light inside. So we are exactly the same. Working with angels gives us the opportunity to develop our wisdom, to understand ourselves better and to overcome obstacles as we connect to our internal light. When we connect to our superior being or divine energy, we will leave behind the beliefs of limitations and all that, because all that is unreal. During this time, we have the possibility of remembering what we really are and to act in accordance with beings of light. The help that each angel brings to us and our guardian angel will help you to realize that we are unique beings created to love and enjoy all of creation. Actually, the vital force that lives within us will take off the layers that have maintained us in darkness and will come up to renovate us and to fill us with this peace that we have longed for. Our cells will be renovated and we will practically be reborn. To communicate with the angelical world, we must learn, in addition to the meditation that we mentioned before, to not make judgments and to accept all situations as they are. The more we judge ourselves, especially, we will make more judgments on others, which closes to natural flow of love and creates the feeling of rejection and separation. When we conserve our personal vibration in a state of godness and goodness and compassion, we help others and elevate their vibration with our presence. There is a special angel that has had the mission of being with us during our entire existence. This is called the guardian angel. The most important mission of this angel is to bring us closer to God. I know I'm taking a little bit more time. I'm gonna finish very soon. In addition to guardian angel, the thing is, when I get into this, I mean, it's so much that I want to share. Yeah, so much. Okay, so in addition, the guardian angel guides us, protects us, and plants in us the need to know more, understand more, and bring us closer to our creative source. This angel that guards us tells us what to do in difficult situations. Actually talks to us in our ears very, very softly when we are confronted with some danger, and rejoices with us in our accomplishments in life. Pain and human suffering without the belief of a world that supports us and loves us would be unbearable and would not have much meaning. That wouldn't have much meaning. The purpose of the angels is also to help us to have worldly experiences that are more bearable in life. I'm just going to share with you a message that came to my heart when I was writing a book that I wrote some time ago. And the message said the following: I did not choose the material world as you did. My choice was to continue as pure energy at the service of the Creator. I have no physical form, but since I know that at times you need to confirm my presence, I transform myself so you can see me. I love wings and their meaning. I can also don them and leave a small sample of my presence with a little feather. I can do many things, but all things I do for the love of God in first place, and then for love of you. In reality, we are many and we occupy no space. You can even inhale us when you feel that your body needs to be renovated. Let us be closer to you and let your imagination flow, and you will see our sparks light you and your soul up. And at the end of the message was just a word that said, a phrase that said, just flow, your guardian angel. That was a beautiful last message.
Claudia.
Okay, Mirna, thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing with us your time and your knowledge. It's been a true pleasure to be part of or being by your side while you've been doing that. It is fascinating to hear the approach that you have on such a beloved topic. Is something that is mysterious, and our attention always is drawn towards that. And you have a very modern approach. My question here is, how did you came to change that perspective and understand the figure not as an anthropomorphic being, but presence, but just energy, but just a force of nature? And what else is out there of your knowledge that we are probably not seeing?
Thank you very much, Mirna. Well, I became, I've been very, let's say, sneaky, very curious, and I wanted to know deeply what they told me. I don't fall very easy on beliefs that I just hear there or around me. So I've been reading a lot through my whole life. So you might say that that was the beginning of it. Now, the other part that I could say that is maybe the mother of my life is the spiritual life in me, within me since I was 9 years old. I've been through a bunch of experiences since I was a little girl, and those experiences kind of took me or showed me little by little how the spiritual life was in reality. So even though I grew up as a Catholic person, and I love that religion also, I was shown that there are many other ways, and that spirituality is not the religion. Spirituality is everything. So you can say that just by life itself, I learned that the spiritual realm is something that we have inside of us. I've been questioned many times about what is a spiritual life and how do you live a very spiritual life. And usually my answer is that we can live a spiritual life by living what we live every single day. Since the moment we wake up or get up in the morning and we get up with a nice attitude, and we can continue through our work and with people, with the way we relate with others, with the way we even, hold a glass and put a glass on top of a table. We can put a glass in a very nasty way, or we can put a glass on the table in a very easy and nice way. We can live a spiritual life even when we walk, and we walk softly on top of Mother Earth. That's a spiritual life also. So spirituality is everywhere. The spiritual life is not something that is separated to us or from us. Spiritual life is within us. And that's one of the things that probably we're learning nowadays. We've been taught that the physical body is here and that the emotions are there. And if you have the need to go even if you have the need to go to see a doctor, you go to a specialist that is going to take care of this part. And if you have a problem with your emotions, you have to go to a psychologist or psychotherapist. And if you have a problem with, let's say, with a spiritual life, then you have to go to talk to a priest or to somebody else, so to a pastor. So, I mean, we've been taught that those are kind of different or separated areas of our lives. But the final truth is that we are one, and that all of that is inside of us. And I can say that the spiritual life is kind of like the root of everything else. If that root is solid, the structure is solid, everything else is going to be all right. The physical life is going to be fine. The emotions are going to be fine. And everything that is around us is going to be perfectly fine. So that's how I see it.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. As I hear you, what I'm thinking is that we tend to think that spirituality and religion is the same, or it has to be tied to a certain type of ritual. But allow me to ask you and tell me if you agree with this. It's what's behind, right? It's the intention. And that it can take a certain shape or another one depending on our cultural background. But in the end, there's some invisible truth, there's some invisible lining that we all belong to, right? And it's
Perfectly
just that
right.
capability of connecting with that part of ourselves.
That's perfectly right. Yes. And you mentioned a word that is very important, which is the intention. The intention is the first step of many changes in life. And actually is completely nice truth, what you said right now. There is nothing wrong in beliefs, religions, philosophies. There's nothing wrong in that. The basic of everything is, what is my intention? What is my intention when I go to church? What is my intention when I go to a service? What is my intention when I on my knees and I pray? What is behind? And behind should be a pure intention of love, especially love for myself. Love in number one, it's love for the Creator. Number one, love for myself. And number two, love for the others. So that should be the intention. And we should pay attention to that, because many times, let's say that we want something, we want to change our life, we want to study something, we want even as simple as buying a car. We have to pay attention to our intentions. If the intention is pure and is based on an open heart, then everything else is going to be fine. So that's the basic. So thank you for mentioning it. It's very important.
I also wanted to ask you about, what do you think that lately, what has changed in us that we're more and more craving that experience of being connected to something higher, to something more profound? And I would say that it's very evident, the fact that we are abandoning old structures that were probably more ritualistic, and we're all just wanting that other experience, that deeper connection. What has changed? What is making us lean towards that?
I might say that one of the things is that we finally are getting tired. Finally, we are facing the fact that even though technology is very good, and we find that everything in the world is, very easy nowadays because of technology, we are not satisfied. There is something that is missing inside of us. So now, finally, we are opening our eyes and we are having that crave that you said, to look for something else, to find something else. And as I mentioned before, many of us are going through those questions of, is this what I really want? Am I taking the right path? Am I happy doing what I'm doing? Or would I like to change this? Would I like to do something else? So those questions are very important, and we are going through those questions, especially nowadays, because we are perceiving that there is something bigger than us and something that is fulfilling and something that is actually more important than everything else that we have in the world.
Thank you. As we reach the end of our conversation, what would you like to leave us with? What are your closing thoughts?
Well, I would like to leave you with the thought of some of these questions. I guess especially one. The one that goes by, is that what I really want in my life? What would I like to change? There's one thing that is very important. We have to comprehend that we are the responsible or the creator of everything. We cannot put or give others the responsibility of our happiness. We are the only ones that create happiness or create sadness. So I would like you to take that as a thought that you might take daily. Think about your life as your own responsibility. Don't take or put that responsibility on others. Put that responsibility on you, and don't take it as a big thing on top of you. Take it as an experience of life, because that's what life is. It's just an experience, and it's just a path that we're going through, and it's full of experiences, yes. But those experiences that I've been going through and that I am creating for me are going to be good, because those experiences are going to help me to grow spiritually, physically, and emotionally. So that would be all. And thank you very much again. Bless you. Bless everybody. And thank you to the group of Mindalia for this work that they're doing that is fantastic. Thank you.
Claudia, thank you for sharing with us your time, your knowledge. It's been a great pleasure to be here in the first row listening to your message. To the people that joined us today or that may join us later, I just want to remind you that Mindalia.com is an international nonprofit organization. You can collaborate with us by liking, subscribing, following us. You can go to our website, www.mindalia.com. You are going to find every single video that we have ever created right there. Big hug and all our gratitude. We will see you again in the next Mindalia live streaming. Bye bye.